It should be pretty entertaining. I really kind of wanted to mix all this up with the Memphis Songwriters Association, Steve's family, the media, and there's one person in the audience that seems to have known and worked with Steve a long time, and so I'm going to introduce Theresa Johnson. She's going to come up here, and I'm sure she's got nothing but swell things to say about you, sir. Theresa, when did you start your relationship with Steve Collins?
October 1986.
Oh, there's a day.
Well, I'm going to let you take it from here. You can take this off.
Oh, that's bad.
That music stands.
Well, this is kind of hard to follow, you know. Leave it to the uppity blonde bitch from Germantown that's really going to tell everybody like it is. You know, Steve has gone by many names. TV Stevie, One Sharp Dude, but I've recently named him STI. And if you don't know what that means sick, twisted individual. As I mentioned, we started working together in October of 1986 and at WPTY, and at that time it was an independent TV station with no affiliation. We got a new general manager in 1987, and for those of you not in the media business, if you've ever been at a station and you've been sold or you've gotten a new general manager, you never know where you stand when you're a salesperson. Well, STI decided that he was going to make this new general manager, he was going to win him over, and this general manager was from the West Coast, and he wore Armani suits, Ferragamo shoes, and crazy colored socks. So he decided that he was going to win this guy over, and by doing so, he talked the whole station into wearing these crazy, go out and buy these crazy brightly colored socks, and we're all going to wear them one day to make him feel right at home. So the day came, we all went in, we all had on our crazy colored socks. The guy comes in, and he walks in, and he goes, you kind of got me. And it wasn't really the response that we thought we were going to get. We were really hoping that he'd have a better sense of humor. Needless to say, Steve was gone the next year. Now, while we were friends at WPTY, his family and my family became friends. We had daughters that were the same age. They were in Daisy Scouts together, and the next thing I know, the STI is now working with me at WREG. But now he calls himself TV Stevie. So I knew that we were in for some good times now with TV Stevie here down on the river with me. Sometimes we go to lunch together, and if anybody knows Steve, they know that he likes him some meat and threes. So every time we went to lunch, he would always order the same thing. One day we were going to meet at the Button. He says, "Hey, if you get there before I do, order for me." He goes, order for me. And I said, "You mean you want meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and green beans?" And he said, "How did you know?" And I said, "Because that's what you order every single time we go to lunch." And his response was, "Wow, I have a work wife now." Lucky me. I was hoping that after 2 previous wives, Vicki could get the improved vision of Steve, but reading some of his Facebook posts, I still see that she is subjected to a lot of public humiliation. I'd like to share a few public humiliations that I have endured as the work wife. The first one happened on a beautiful late spring day. I'd come in from making several sales calls one warm afternoon, and I had taken my shoes off and left them in my office. This was during the time when women still wore pantyhose in the summertime. So I took my shoes off. I went over to get my mailbox cleaned out, and then I went to traffic and was talking, and the next thing I know, I go back to my office, and my shoes are missing. I was like, where are my shoes? I needed to go to the ladies' room, and I was not going to walk into the ladies' room with no shoes on. I walked all around looking for them, and all of a sudden it hit me. Steve has got my shoes. I marched myself down to his office, turned the corner. There are my shoes propped up underneath his desk, and it looks like I am performing some sort of act on him underneath his desk. So after I called him a few names, I retrieved my shoes, but as I was leaving, I told him that he was lucky enough, if he was ever lucky enough to ever get something from me, he would not be sitting at his desk working as he was doing so. Because it would be monumental and he would never forget it. He then replied something like, he goes, well, are you saying it was a monument? And then I stopped away thinking, how does one get over him? How do you do it? How do you get the last laugh on Steve Collins? There's no way to do so. Okay, another time was I took up a collection to purchase a gift for someone at the sales staff. I got Steve's check, put it in an envelope, didn't even think to look at it until I got to the bank to deposit it. I'm endorsing all the checks and I flip it over, and down at the bottom of the check where it says what it's for, he wrote sex act in capital letters. Thank God I was in the drive-in window. At least I wasn't inside the bank, because as soon as I gave the checks, I was thinking, please God, don't see the bottom of that check. So of course, by the time I got back to the station, I was like, oh, I just cannot believe you did that to me. After a few years at WREG, Steve's now single again, and this was before Match.com, ChristianSingles.com, and JDate.com. For those of you who did not know, Steve is an eighth Jewish. I think it's an eighth. So then he found out that there were singles groups at Hope, Presbyterian, Second Press, and he even tried to find out if any synagogues in town had singles nights. He became very active in those church groups. Steve was also very cost conscious when it came to buying a car. He started hanging out at retirement homes and scoping out cars to buy from their owners who had no use for them any longer because they had died. His daughters were mortified by what he would buy. I asked him, how did he expect to get a girlfriend with a hootie like that? His response to me was that he was sporting a 4.5, and my response was, with a car like that and a 4.5, what more could a girl ask for? So I then let him know that he needed to buy a few new shirts. He had a striped one in particular that I just hated that shirt, and he would wear it every week, and every week I would go, Steve, you need to lose that shirt, dude. So anyway, we go way back, and all of a sudden he decided, I told him he needed to get some new shirts, and so he said, he went and bought some clothes, and he brought them back. He goes, what do you think about this one, this, and this one? And I said, well, that color just doesn't look good on you. And so he goes, well, you know, remember, Theresa, I'm colorblind, and I don't really know what color this is. And so I said, then all of a sudden it hit me, don't offer to go buy him clothes because I'm not taking any more checks from him.
Yeah. No kidding.
Last but not least, thank goodness Steve found Vicki and they were married. And he no longer needed me, so I knew that he was in good hands with Vicki. One more thing I wanted to say is that, I don't know if any of you saw the picture of he and his brother that he posted for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Well, I saw that picture, and I thought to myself, okay, since when has he gotten so sappy? And I thought, I looked at his face, and I thought, there's something bad about this picture. Well, I looked down, and he has 2 walnuts between his legs. Well, of course, I'm the only other sick individual that noticed that, and I could hear him saying, no. You were checking out my 4.5. So I busted out laughing, and my husband goes, what is so funny? And I said, Steve is he is warped. And not only that, but he drug his poor brother into the picture.
Yeah.
So as I grow older, it's great to realize that no matter what Steve has been through, he's always made us laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always making me laugh. Thank you for making me your work wife. And even though sometimes I was the brunt of your jokes, I appreciated that someone thought well enough of me to consider me a work wife. I don't think I've been one since. But just want to say how much I love you, and just glad you're here with us all and still making us laugh.
Yeah.